How's it going, guys? Little Regret 265 here, and today I'm going to do another short informational video taking a look at Gran Turismo Sport's MFD system. Now this is long overdue. In fact, I discussed elements of it in my Ultimate Assist Guide videos months ago, but I never even discussed what it is or what it does. For that reason, I want to take a pause and take a quick look at it. And for those who are looking at the HUD elements on screen and have no idea what they're looking at, I'll link a video to Polyphony Digital's very own guide to the HUD, which can also be accessed directly from the first driving school mission on GT Sport. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. So when you're asking what I'm talking about when I say the MFD, I'm referring to the multi-function display, and it's in the HUD elements of Gran Turismo Sport, as well as a lot of other sim titles such as Project Cars 2, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and iRacing. The point is that it'll display a number of different things, multiple functions you could say, simply by pressing the directional buttons on the default button map on your controller or wheel. On my screen and in the bumper cam, you'll see it in between the speedometer and the tachometer dead center, and in all other cameras it will be in the bottom right hand corner, which incidentally my game camera is blocking. It gives you a lot of different information and utility, but the first thing it does when you load into a race, assuming you haven't touched it yet, is show the course map. Now this is focused on your car and is not the full map, but it shows you a more close idea of the race around you, essentially who's where and what's happening. This is also useful to visually judge gaps to cars in front or behind without using the driver list off to the left, though I prefer the list personally because it gives you the split times. This is also good if you spin out. It allows you to look at any traffic coming up and rejoin the track safely without causing a whole row. But if you hit right on the D-pad, the next thing you'll see is the radar, which is easily my most used widget on the MFD. This gives you an aerial view of the precise area around your car, maybe 10 feet ahead of your car and about 20 feet behind, but it shows you everything going on with your flanks. Incredibly useful in the bumper cam, and the cockpit cam, and even in the hood cam, you can see it pretty useful. If you have a car left, a car right, or if you have a car approaching you, you can immediately see this and position yourself accordingly. I like to keep the radar up fairly often because I'm in bumper cam and I need to keep stock of what everyone around me is doing at any given moment, which I can't always visually see. If I have no one nearby or if everything's steady for the moment, that's normally when I tab over to other items so I can check on other things. Which if you do tab over again, you'll have the timing board, which will show your split times across a lap compared to your best splits, your previous lap, your best lap, and your optimal lap, which is all of your best splits put together for a theoretical best lap. This is just useful to know how you're driving certain sections of the track, where you can gain time, how your pace is, etc, etc. I find myself using this most during qualifying to gauge where my lap is at and whether it's something I want to continue or whether I want to bail out of it. You can also press up or down to toggle comparisons from either your session best or your car record, i.e. the best time you've set with this car and track combo. This all updates every time you cross a track sector and is useful to continually gauge your driving, especially when you don't have tire wear or fuel usage on. After that, you have the traction control system on the MFD screen, and what this does is it allows you to adjust the strength of the traction control system while you're driving. Pressing down on the D-pad lowers the traction control for less assistance, and pressing up raises it for more assistance. This is useful to alter the corner exit balance as needed and get the most from the car as it evolves throughout the race. I have way more information on that in the TCS video, my Ultimate Assist Guide, so I will save you the essay. Moving on from that, we have the brake balance screen, which was discussed in the ABS video, and is mainly to alter the car's braking behavior, where it puts more braking pressure on the front tires for braking, which gives you understeer, or if it puts more pressure on the rears for oversteer. Pressing down on the D-pad will give you lower or negative values, which are most useful for the front, and pressing up gives you higher or positive values, which shifts the bias to the rear. This allows you to fine-tune the car's behavior when entering the turn, and is extremely useful to suit the different corner types on the track, or just for fine-tuning the car's handling to your preference without actually leaving the track. Now, the final screen you'll see is the fuel data screen on the MFD, and you won't always see this one. The race or session needs to have fuel consumption turned on in order for the screen to show up. This is a huge utility though when you do have it, and probably my second most used screen behind the radar. You get the amount of fuel remaining in your tank as a percentage, and the amount of laps you can run with your remaining fuel. This does change dynamically as the race goes on, but is not always 100% accurate. Everyone drives slightly different and burns a slightly different amount of fuel, even with all other things equal, so it needs a couple laps to understand exactly how you drive in order to give you accurate numbers. The low fuel warning message also works using these measurements, so you can monitor that ahead of time using this specific widget. What you also have the ability to do is to change how much fuel the car burns when accelerating by altering the fuel mix. Pressing up on the D-pad leans out the fuel burn so that the car saves more fuel, and pressing down will burn more fuel and allow the car to accelerate a little bit better. Leaning out the fuel mix is usually the most useful when you're trying to go further on the same amount of gas, and so you don't have to pit as often. It's almost as much art as it is science, but it's a useful tool nonetheless, and I'd recommend you definitely try it out to understand it better if you've not already. But that's about everything on the MFD, and it gives you plenty of information, of course. But I'd also like to say don't focus too much on that information. It's always on the full HUD, but it's just information, not necessarily going to make you drive better or worse. Outside of that, just kind of do you and learn to use the information to your best effect. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video or you want to see more like it, make sure you like and subscribe, and I have a lot more informational stuff in the Ultimate Assist Guide and more videos coming in the pipeline. Check me out at twitch.tv/LittleRegret265. I'll put that up on the screen. You can find me on most social media at LittleRegret265. And yes, I'm finally on Twitter now. Until the next time, take care, race fair, and have a great day, guys.